This past Saturday night, Ron, the True Killings, made his triumphant return to the WWE screen after a tumultuous 8 days, to say the least. A weekend prior, R-Truth came out with a statement, came out with a tweet stating that he had been released from WWE after 17 years of service, and he'd like to thank the fans, his co-workers, his friends, his compadres, the whole nine, and WWE themselves for the great times that was had in the last 17 years. Continuous 17 years. Do you know that R-Truth first appeared on a WWF screen? Yeah, that's right. He was part of the company before they got the F out. He was part of the company during the Attitude Era. He had a tag team with Road Dogg. He went under the moniker K-Quick. He had a theme song, Get Rowdy. Get rowdy. Before he left, I believe in 2002. In 2003, he made, matter of fact, in 2002, he made his TNA Total Non-Stop Action debut and was one of the first NWA World Champions. And matter of fact, he was the first African-American NWA World Heavyweight Champion. He made history. He was a militant. Ron, the Truth Killings. He had a memorable run in TNA before WWE start calling. And of course, Ever the Showman said, you know what? Yeah, I'll go back. I think I proved my worth. I got y'all groveling on your hands and knees for the boy to come back. Come back. And there he worked, like I said, continuously for 17 years up until last weekend, when they informed him that they wasn't really releasing him, but they were not going to renew his contract that was coming up pretty soon, maybe within the next couple weeks. Him, along with Carlito, were told that they were not being brought back. And there was a lot of outrage in the IWC. There was a lot of outrage right here on the Salty Thoughts of Mike Step. There was a lot of outrage amongst his co-workers, amongst his peers, amongst the company. Not only for the way, not only for the fact that it was it was done, but for the way it was done. So we had a lot of, we want truth, we want truth, we want truth chants last week at various WWE events. WWE Raw on Netflix, WWE Friday Night SmackDown, even at Worlds Collide, and in the early portion of WWE Money in the Bank, until R-Truth came out during the main event to exact his revenge on the one and only piece of shit, John Cena. But look on the screen. Does that man look like a man that's to be played with? Does that man look like the normal jovial, some would say juvenile acting R-Truth? Or does that man look like the man himself, Ron, the Truth Killings? Literally, Ron's Killings is his real name. Real name, no gimmicks. And dare I say, it's fitting. Look at that man. Does he look like a killer, right? No stereotype. Just saying. Look like he was about his business. Now, various reports came out as soon as it was happening of, well, is it a work? Is it a shoot? Did they bring him back? Or was this a plan all along? Well, according to various sources, PW Insider and Fightful Select, I will read the articles that were given, and I'll give you my 2 cents. The bridge to R-Truth making a surprise appearance at Money in the Bank and signing a new WWE contract was apparently WWE President Nick Khan. That's very important. That's a very important part of this story. WWE President Nick Khan was the bridge to bring R-Truth back, according to report out of Fightful Select. I continue. Following last Sunday's news that he would not be returning to WWE, there was a public backlash on social media, chants during Raw and SmackDown, and several WWE wrestlers airing their grief or their grievances on social media that Truth would not be coming back. The outlet reported that they were told that it was a talent relations employee who initially gave Truth the news rather than a higher up, which only added to the situation given that he had been there for so long. So it was a talent relations employee rather than a higher up, rather than someone say, who actually kind of named the era after himself, the Paul Triple H Levesque era. Remember all the pomp and circumstance last year at WrestleMania 40? It was a coming out party at WrestleMania 40, right? Because everything you see on that screen, everything you see in propaganda, everything you see in media is all for the mind of Paul Triple H Levesque, right? I mean, he tells you himself numerous times, month after month after month. Every press conference. There's not a fucking camera 15 minutes and 20 seconds before my first F-bomb. There isn't a fucking camera that he's in front of that he will not remind you that all of this is from the mind of Paul Triple H Levesque. But he couldn't even pick up the phone to let this loyal, long tenured employee let them know that, you know what, listen, we couldn't come to terms on this contract, so we're gonna choose to part ways. He couldn't even pick up the phone and do that, right? But matter of fact, how about this? How about being man? He's in a gorilla position every fucking week, right? He makes sure do you really think that this is like some type of new thing that they gotta have the wrestler being followed from the parking lot, from the locker room, through the gorilla position into the arena just for the focus on the wrestler? No, he wants everybody to know that, yeah, he's the wizard behind the fucking curtain. So you mean to tell me in his last appearance, last Friday night on SmackDown, a loss against JC Mateo, tomato, Hakuna Matata, the whole nine? You mean to tell me that Friday he didn't know Sunday Truth was going to get a phone call? You mean to tell me after everything, after the smoke is done, after the smoke has cleared, that he couldn't take R-Truth to the side? I'm like, listen, I know that's not really part of my duties per se, because I'm not into contract negotiations, but listen, we haven't been able to come out, and I just wanted to let you know that man to man, I appreciate your 17 years and so forth. No. I swear he's more like the Vince McMahon than y'all think. Listen, it was JR like me. The fuck? It was JR that didn't like me. Vince, nah. If Vince didn't want me fired, Nah, it was Bruce that didn't like me. Nah, Vince was like a father to me. Fuck out of here. Anyway, I continue. They stated that Truth ignored WWE's attempts to talk during the week until Khan himself took the lead to work out a new contract with both sides meeting halfway. No details were provided on the length of the deal or if Paul Triple H Levesque was involved at all. No, he wasn't involved at all. Why would he be? You know, he probably looked at Truth that, he's expendable. They want me to, all right, they told me I got to cut 3 talents. Hughes. Carlito, he don't need it. Flick him away. Okay, thank you. Look, listen, we paid you 2 years to play PS3, PS5s in the back and eat apples and look at apple bottoms. You'll be all right. Sarah Logan, yeah, well, you got 2 kids. You popped out 2 kids. You wasn't really gonna come back anyway, and your husband's still on the payroll, so it's not like I'm really cutting out some bread from you. You can go. R-Truth. He got a little recording career. He's been here 17 years. I'm quite sure he stacked his money. We can get rid of him. I mean, it was actually very shocking when I heard, I don't know how true this is, but when I heard that R-Truth was only making maybe about $350,000 per year, guaranteed. Look, I'm not saying he should have been making millions, but 350, damn. Shoot, probably some NXT talent probably make more than that. You choose to cut Ron the True Kill. Now I've always been under the philosophy that fair or foul, right or wrong, people get fired every day, B. But usually it should be handled with some tact. It should be handled with some class. It should be handled with some professionality, if you will. But Paul Triple H, whether he was involved at all, of course he wasn't. I continue. It's also unknown who made the decision not to bring Truth back to begin with, and what specifically made them reverse course. Well, everything revolves around Mr. Levesque, right? It's not like anybody's coming from above him, supposedly, to say, yo, I want him gone. So that means it's up to, isn't he the Lord of Creative? Right? He's the head of creative, right? Meaning everything on that screen, because he makes sure that at the end of every show, executive producer, Lee Fitting, Paul Levesque. Lee Fitting with the shots, Paul Levesque with the mind. So whose decision would it be if it wasn't his? Do you think The Rock just came in and swooped in, as he's known to do, and just say, you know what? I haven't been here since Elimination Chamber, but I want R-Truth out of here. Bye-bye. No. So take responsibility for your actions. That's my whole thing. Take responsibility for your actions. What made them reverse course? The public backlash. Not only from the fan base, but through the industry itself. That you could not find a person that had any type of negative thought, any type of negative say, any type of negative word about Ron, the Truth, killings. Matter of fact, scratch all that. Nobody had anything negative to say about Ron killings. He's been there from generation to generation to generation. 17 years. He probably knows all about the skeletons. He carved his niche for himself and always made sure that others were joyous. He gave joy. He spread joy, spread love at the Brooklyn way. And Ron Killings ain't from Brooklyn, but that's how he did. That was his mentality. So of course, when this happened, it was like a powder keg that was unnecessarily ignited. Now, the last part of this article is Truth's surprise appearance came in the main event as he laid out John Cena, clearing the way for Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso to pick up the win over Cena and Logan Paul. New merchandise focused on Ron Killings was then released shortly thereafter. PW Insider reported Saturday night that something had changed in the prior 72 hours as Truth was already getting inquiries from several organizations about doing business. So, okay. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to put together the pieces of the puzzle. He already started getting inquiries. Now, I'm not saying that he was going to go to AEW, going to go to TNA, that he was going to go anywhere, but he was getting inquiries from several organizations about doing business. So that means he would still be in the public eye, but someplace else, while you're getting all the residual effect, the residual venom from casting him out in an unspectacular manner. If you wasn't so callous, if you wasn't so arrogant, Triple H, you probably would have been able to allow him to be released or contract not renewed, and there wouldn't have been no type of outrage. You knew this was coming. You write him into a storyline since you're so creative. You have it like lose or leave town, or if Ron Cena loses, then not only does he have to give up the name, but he has to leave WWE, and he runs up on top. Main event. Even so, even with that, you could have him come and have his last hurrah at Money in the Bank to cost John Cena the match in this tag team match, which I'll get to in a very few minutes. Makes no anyway, right? Could have did that. Did they do that? No. You had him go out, even though he was showing a little spunk. You have him go out on his back against JC Matado, Akuna Matata, the whole nine. Yeah. Is that a self-inflicted wound? Yes, it is. There was now one last thing before I move on to the actual event that nobody's really talking about, because, like I said, it was kind of uneventful, to tell you the truth, except for Naomi. Who's to say? Nobody knows about the length. They say he signed a new contract. Was it maybe just an extension? It could be as simple as they extended him a couple months to tie up the loose strings, to kind of quell the outrage, write him in a big time or a top level storyline to officially write him out instead of writing him out unceremoniously. That's what I personally think. With the open ending of, okay, we're gonna, you're a top merch seller. We're gonna push this merch. We're gonna give you this. We're gonna give you this serious push for these couple months. We're gonna give you some bread, and if anything, when you do leave, it's gonna be a little quieter than it was this time. That's the plan. He's going along with it for now. But when he goes online, and more importantly, when his son goes online and calls Cap, and for all our old heads out here, Cap means liar, 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 pants on fire. That still shows there's some residual animosity brewing from. All right, listen, y'all showed me I'm not family. All right, this is a business. I'm a businessman. Look, I'm 53 years old. I'm a grown ass man, and I'm not coming back on my knees. So we're gonna do business. But if I did get it misconstrued that we rocked a certain way, guess what? Noted. Noted. So soon come. What's gonna happen tonight on Raw? I'm quite sure they're gonna do something. John Cena's supposed to appear tonight on Raw. I mean, I swear I can't. Can December hurry up? Can John Cena get the fuck up out of here? I am sick and tired. Sick and tired. Sick and tired of John effing Cena on my screen. Shoot. Looking like this. Soon come.